Once a cheater, always a cheater. For people like that, forever and ever is just a nice phrase. Nothing more. When I met Mila, my life was already going well. I had a decent job, my own house, and even a car. Quite a package, right? Mila, being a smart and ambitious woman, wasn't one to let an opportunity like that slip away. After 6 months, she made sure we were heading down the aisle. Honestly, I didn't need much persuading. I was completely in love. Mila wasn't just beautiful and sharp. She was also a wonderful homemaker. 2 months into our marriage, she moved into my place, and wow, it felt like the house came to life. She hung up elegant curtains, picked out stylish new dishes, and even brightened up the front porch with flowers. Slowly, we were building a life together, and everything seemed perfect. I even changed jobs to spend more time with her. The new position came with a company car, so my personal car sat unused in the garage. Mila would occasionally take it out, usually to meet friends at a cafe or to go shopping. And I thought I'd struck gold with her. She wasn't a big spender. Our shopping trips were modest, maybe just a pair of sunglasses, a purse, or a scarf now and then. Looking back, I should have questioned it, but I was blinded by love and couldn't see the red flags right in front of me. Then one day my perfect world came crashing down. It was my day off and Mila was out. I decided to check the car's oil, something I hadn't done in ages since the car rarely left the garage. As I got ready to pop the hood, I noticed something strange. The dust on the hood wasn't undisturbed. It had been wiped away in a pattern that instantly caught my attention. The marks told a story I didn't want to read. Familiar outlines of a body pressed against the middle, handprints near the windshield, and a few more by the headlights. You didn't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out what had happened. Someone had been very comfortable there. And just like that, it hit me. My wife had been cheating on me. The rage I felt in that moment is beyond words. For the first few minutes, I was consumed by an anger that made me see red. I wanted to destroy everything in sight, and well, I did. I stomped all over her flowers, yanked down the curtains she had chosen, and turned the house into a disaster zone. When I finally calmed down, I grabbed a couple of suitcases from the pantry and packed up her things. Mila showed up about an hour later. The moment she saw her flowers ripped out of the ground, she stormed into the house, shouting at the top of her lungs. "Have you lost your mind? Are you drunk? What the hell is going on here?" Then her eyes landed on the suitcases sitting in the middle of the room. Her tone shifted instantly. "Darling, what's going on?" she asked, her voice trembling. "What's going on?" I repeated, my tone as calm as a frozen lake. "You turned out to be nothing but trash, and now you're leaving. Go wherever you like, but you're not staying here." Her face twisted in disbelief. "Are you serious right now? Stop talking nonsense," she snapped. "Did someone tell you some ridiculous story about me?" I chuckled, shaking my head. "Oh, Mila, no one had to tell me anything. Next time you decide to get busy in my car, maybe wipe the evidence off the hood." Her entire demeanor crumbled instantly. She started sputtering excuses, her voice cracking. Then suddenly she collapsed onto the sofa and began sobbing. It was pathetic. I could see she was waiting for me to comfort her, to tell her it was all just a misunderstanding. But there was no chance of that. "Get out," I said coldly, standing over her. "Unless you want me to drag you out by your hair. Do you really want that kind of humiliation?" Mila shook her head, her gaze lowered in submission. She stood up, slowly gathering her things. It was pitiful. She dragged her suitcases outside and plopped down, phone in hand, calling someone. Through the window, I watched as a car pulled up a few minutes later. A guy got out, young, smug, and far too eager to help her load her bags into the trunk. Then, just to twist the knife further, he hugged her and kissed her right there in front of my house. Up until that moment, some part of me still held on to the hope that maybe her infidelity had been a one-time thing, a stupid mistake. But that kiss sealed it. I knew then and there that this wasn't just a fling, it was a full-blown relationship. Fuming, I picked up the phone and called her father. I laid everything out, every humiliating detail, and told him I was filing for divorce. Since the house, the car, and everything else were mine before the marriage, there wasn't much to fight over. We split cleanly, like two ships sailing in opposite directions. But God, I missed her. The nights were the hardest. My friends did their best to keep me sane. They would swing by in the evenings, keep me company, and talk about anything but Mila. Without them, I'm not sure how I would have made it through that. I don't know how I would have gotten through it. Then one day, while scrolling through social media, I stumbled across a post. Mila had remarried. It hadn't even been 2 months since the divorce papers were signed. Sinfully, I couldn't help but wonder if she was already pregnant. Honestly, I wanted revenge. On her for breaking my heart and on him for being with a married woman. But what was the point? Some battles aren't worth fighting. I couldn't shake the feeling of bitterness, knowing that despite everything they'd done, they were still out there living their happy little life. Mila had it all: her home, her husband, and even a job at some high-end beauty salon. Funny thing was, her new husband was the one who got her that job. New husband. Of course, the universe always gives you a chance to correct your mistakes. 6 months after they got married, my buddy ran into Mila at a nightclub. Imagine his surprise when he saw her kissing some unknown guy. We'd spent a lot of time going through photos on social media, so Yura recognized her immediately. That wasn't her husband. No, Mila was out there with someone else. Yura filmed the whole thing and sent it over to me with a simple note. Do whatever you want with this. At first, I wasn't sure what to do with the footage. Sure, the guy who'd taken Mila from me was a piece of work, but I didn't want to fall into the same endless loop of betrayal. So I couldn't help myself. I tracked the guy down on social media and sent him a message, telling him I had some information about Mila. His response was full of arrogance. He told me to mind my own business and stay out of their lives. Fine. If that's how he wanted to play it, I made my move. A second later, I posted the video of Mila with her mystery man right on his profile. An hour later, he deleted it, but of course the damage was done. The reposts had already spread like wildfire. Our town's small and everyone knows everyone's business. Within a week, I learned that the whole thing had blown up. Their happy marriage fell apart, and the guy even got her fired from her job. Then they kicked her out of their home at his request. As if that wasn't enough, rumors started circulating that her own parents had cut ties with her. They couldn't stand the disgrace their daughter had brought upon them. Mila messaged me once wanting to meet, but honestly I just laughed. After everything that had happened, there was no chance in hell I'd give her the time of day.